Y'all was riding down for Big U. Now his son got killed. Nigga, why you niggas ain't sliding, bro? All you niggas up there popping it, my nigga. All you Greg Crips was popping it, my nigga, when Big U was out here. Now his son get killed, nigga.
And other people are trying to say it's the Southsiders or the Mexicans, you know what I'm saying? But there's a lot of fingers pointing, man.
I mean, it's hard to, say where it really came from, because you got Big U, he's a target by itself. And, if his sons is out there, that makes them a target.
Big U's son has been taken out. And ever since the heartbreaking murder of Jabari Henley, better known as Baby Way, on Halloween night, chaos has ruled the streets. Now things have taken a shocking new turn that no one saw coming. In what looks like retaliation, some of Nipsey Hussle's old affiliates, convinced that Big U had something to do with their homie's death, just dropped explosive footage online.
We still out here. We stole everything about that. Hey, well, you did. Hey, we on tape, man. Y'all don't want to sign too grimy. Y'all want to sign too grimy. Look at these two dudes, Huey and Nipsey Hussle.
The video shows Big U's final moments with his son before everything went downhill. The clip spread across LA in minutes, reigniting old tension that had been buried for years between Big U's circle and Nipsey's people. Almost overnight, the whole city felt uneasy again. Old wounds ripped back open, familiar names started circulating in whispers, and the community was forced to relive pain it never fully recovered from.
Justice for them.
A young boy would have been there like, yeah,
You did. You did.
But this isn't just another street headline. This is a twisted web of grief, loyalty, betrayal, and online conspiracy. Everyone's left asking the same chilling question. Was Jabari Henley's death just random, or revenge for a truth the streets never stopped talking about? In this story, we're breaking down every detail, from the leaked footage that set the city on fire to the dark history connecting Big U, Nipsey Hussle, and Los Angeles itself, a city that still can't escape its ghosts. It all started quietly, almost too quietly. Late October 2025, a grainy Instagram Live started circulating through LA's tight street network. The shaky footage showed three faces everyone knew. Big U, a legendary figure carrying decades of power and controversy; Nipsey Hussle, the fallen visionary whose energy still echoes through Crenshaw; and Jabari Baby Way Henley, Big U's blood, standing right beside him before tragedy struck. Big U's son was smiling, laughing, just living in a moment that felt full of hope. The clip was barely a minute long, but it hit deep, raw, real, and unfiltered. You can hear Big U in the background, voice filled with pride, half father, half mentor, cracking jokes while watching his son next to Nip. He said, "We still out here." And in that one line, you could feel everything these men stood for.
I'm guessing it was an argument. It had to be an argument started at LA shop. But at first I was like, I wanted to say some shit, but I'm like, I'm not gonna say some shit because that don't got nothing to do with that Nipsey situation. Because I know somebody gonna probably do, think like Nipsey died at his little spot or whatever, but it's karma. But it's not karma. I don't know, because I wouldn't say that, because like if Big U got somebody to kill Nip, then if anything, Big U would have done.
Redemption, brotherhood, and survival. But when that old footage resurfaced, the internet didn't see love or nostalgia. It saw evidence. The video, stripped of all context, was thrown straight into a city already on edge. People twisted it into proof of tension, spinning theories that Big U's history with Nipsey wasn't as loyal as everyone once thought. Suddenly, the comments were on fire. Threads popped up overnight, spreading wild takes and speculations like it was breaking news. That short, harmless clip, what should have been a touching memory of better days, turned into a spark that set off years of buried resentment. Every frame got analyzed like a clue in some street investigation. Because in LA street politics, old wounds never really heal. They just wait for the right moment, or the wrong one, to get dug back up. And this video did exactly that. To really understand why it shook the city, you gotta know the bomb behind it. Nipsey Hussle wasn't just a rapper. He was an architect of change. From the Marathon clothing store to the Vector 90 Community Center, Nip built more than a legacy. He built a movement. Nipsey wasn't just building music. He was building a movement that stretched way beyond the charts. He was creating infrastructure for a whole generation, a blueprint for ownership and power that could outlast fame. Standing right beside him was Eugene Big U Henley, a man whose story went from prison yards to peace tables in the same lifetime. He'd been through the system, came back claiming transformation, and helped shape the business foundation behind Nip's whole vision.
Crip, gang leader, rolling 60s, Big U, this man right here, his son got killed last night. And he's in jail right now fighting, y'all already know, if you know, a Rico. And his son just got killed at a smoke shop in LA.
Very well-known Crip got killed tonight.
Ownership, independence, and loyalty to your block, but in a way that built wealth instead of tearing everything apart. Back in the 2000s, the two of them looked unstoppable. Their partnership defined LA's new wave of independent hustle, inspiring countless artists to take control of their own careers. And during those early years, Big U wasn't just a mentor, he was a protector, a figure who believed he could help steer the next generation away from the same traps he barely made it out of. But looking back now, that dream feels painfully ironic. The legacy they built on unity and empowerment started to crumble under pressure, weighed down by mistrust, betrayal, and street politics. What began as a story of redemption slowly twisted into a cautionary tale of power and paranoia. The real breaking point came in 2019 when Nipsey Hussle was murdered, a tragedy that left LA in shock and mourning. The city cried, murals went up overnight, but grief quickly turned into doubt. Whispers turned into rumors, and those rumors grew into full-blown conspiracy theories. Even after Eric Holder Jr. was convicted and sentenced to decades behind bars, the streets weren't buying the official story. Too many people felt like Nipsey's death was deeper than what the headlines said, that it was an inside move fueled by jealousy, control, and broken trust. And right in the center of all that speculation stood one name, Big U. There was never any solid proof, no phone records, no witness testimony, no real connection that could survive serious scrutiny. But one thing about the internet, it doesn't need evidence to build a story, it just needs emotion. And Nipsey's murder had more emotion than anyone could handle. Then came that clip, a short moment where Big U was caught laughing during a live stream after someone mentioned justice for Nip.
He had no homies to stand up for him, bro. Niggas came up there and beat them niggas up on Crenshaw and Slauson, nigga, at they shop, nigga. And everybody was there, bro. Then niggas came up there and killed him in front of his store. It was no return fire, bro. You feel me? Where's all these niggas at?
The second it dropped, the internet went wild. Some people swore it was just a nervous laugh. Others said it was straight up disrespect. Either way, it poured gasoline on the fire, feeding a story that refused to die. Soon, YouTube channels, podcasts, and social media pages were running wild, pushing every kind of theory, connecting every dot they could imagine. By 2025, those rumors had hardened into straight-up street folklore. So when that old footage of Big U and Nipsey resurfaced, it didn't just remind people of their connection, it brought back every theory, every accusation, and every ounce of pain still tied to Nipsey's death. And this time, the anger didn't stay online. It started bubbling into real life. You could feel the tension in the air, like the city was holding its breath, waiting for something to explode. Halloween night, October 31st, 2025. For most of LA, it was just costumes, laughter, and late-night parties. But on a quiet stretch of Figueroa Street, the night took a dark turn. Jabari Henley, 34 years old, a father, a worker, and by all accounts, a man trying to keep his life peaceful, pulled up to a small smoke shop just before 11 p.m. No flash, no flexing, no drama, just another regular night. But what happened next would turn that ordinary stop into a tragedy that shocked the whole city. Jabari was just stopping by like anyone would after a long day. Nothing special, nothing suspicious. Then came the sedan. Dark paint, heavy tint, creeping up slow like it already knew what was about to happen.
As human beings, everybody has a natural gift and a natural passion, but then you go outside and you get influenced and you feel pressure from what's going on outside. And so, you know, I read one time, like, would you rather be at war with yourself and at peace with the world, or at peace with yourself and at war with the world? And that was powerful for me.
Witnesses said it rolled up silent, deliberate, the kind of move that makes your stomach drop before you even know why. Jabari leaned in to talk with someone inside, maybe 10 seconds tops. Then bang. Out of nowhere, the night exploded. 7 shots tearing through the quiet. Chaos hit instantly. By the time first responders arrived, Jabari was down near the entrance of the smoke shop. 4 bullets had found him. Paramedics fought hard, trying everything they could to save him, but it was too late. The man who'd spent his life trying to stay out of the shadow of gang politics had just become its newest victim. As word spread, so did the talk. And like always, the streets came with their own version of the truth. Some said it was payback, others called it coincidence. But online, the story twisted fast. It became something dark, something unfair. For many, this wasn't just another killing, it was painted as karma. A cruel, baseless idea that this was justice for things Jabari had nothing to do with. He wasn't his father's sins, but to the internet and the street code, that last name Henley was enough. People forgot he was just a man trying to live his own life. Instead, they turned him into another chapter in a story he never asked to be part of. For years, Big U was the guy who could walk into any room in Los Angeles and make people pay attention. Whether it was on the block, in city meetings, or inside music studios, his voice carried power. But in 2025, when news of Jabari's death reached him, that powerful voice went completely silent. By then, Big U was already sitting behind bars, caught up in a federal RICO case tied to alleged gang operations and extortion schemes. Prosecutors painted him as the mastermind of a quiet empire running beneath the city. A man who never really left the streets, no matter how far he claimed to have come. His supporters called it a straight-up witch hunt, a setup meant to strip away his influence and silence his voice. But no matter how you look at it, when the world outside exploded over his son's murder, Big U was locked inside a cold concrete box, powerless, trapped, and forced to listen to the echoes of a world that had moved on without him. The news hit him during morning count. Guards said he froze, didn't say a word for hours, just stared at the floor like his whole world had stopped spinning. And when he finally moved, it wasn't out of rage, it was disbelief. This wasn't supposed to happen. Jabari wasn't supposed to end up like this. Not his boy, not the one he'd tried so hard to protect from the life that once consumed him. A few days later, sitting alone in solitary confinement, Big U reportedly asked for a Bible. For a man once known for commanding whole neighborhoods, the irony was heavy, almost unbearable. Outside those walls, he'd been a symbol of power and control. Inside, he couldn't even attend his own son's funeral. Other inmates said he looked haunted, like a man fighting ghosts he couldn't outrun. One even claimed Big U would sit for hours, whispering verses from scripture. The same ones he used to quote during his motivational talks, he kept repeating, "The sins of the father shall not pass to the son." It hit different now, because he was living proof of how powerless a man can become when fate takes everything that really matters. The empire he built on strength, loyalty, and fear had crumbled in the one place that counted most, his family. And while Big U sat in silence, the internet refused to do the same. Within hours of the news breaking about Jabari's death, social media exploded. Posts mixing pain with mockery, sympathy with sarcasm, blurring the line between respect and entertainment. Hashtags like #StreetKarma and #BigUPayback started blowing up across every platform within hours. TikTok users were digging up old clips of Big U and Nipsey, remixing them into dark montages with captions like, "You reap what you sow." On YouTube, thumbnails screamed, "Payback for Nipsey" in bold red letters, racking up millions of views in just days. It didn't matter what was real anymore. Tragedy had turned into clickbait. In the age of instant content, grief became a kind of currency. Creators who never even met the family turned a murder into a marketing opportunity. Podcast hosts started throwing around street theories they didn't understand, while verified accounts jumped in with so-called deep dives that were really just hot takes in disguise. But behind every viral meme, behind every flashy edit, there was a broken family, a father locked away, a son gone too soon, and a community being dragged back into the same chaos it had fought to escape. The cruelest part wasn't the rumors, it was the laughter. One viral post read, "Funny how karma never misses." Another said, "Now Big U knows how Nipsey's people felt." That's the thing about the internet. It rewards cruelty dressed up as commentary. People call it content, but it's pain, repackaged and sold for engagement. And in moments like this, compassion becomes collateral damage. The digital crowd moved on quick, chasing the next scandal, the next controversy, the next big name to tear apart. But for those living in the middle of it, the pain didn't fade with the algorithm. It lingered. The story wasn't just trending, it was their reality. In the days that followed, LA felt tense again, like the city was holding its breath. Police flooded South Central hoping to piece together what really happened that night, but there were more questions than answers. Surveillance footage was limited, witnesses kept their mouths shut, and the streets buzzed with fear and whispers. Some people were talking revenge, others begged for peace. The LAPD went public, saying they had no evidence linking Jabari's murder to Nipsey's old rivalries. But that didn't stop the speculation, because when the streets start talking, truth doesn't always matter. What matters is who people believe. YouTube commentators, self-proclaimed street insiders, and gossip pages kept pumping out their own versions of the story. twisting facts until nobody could tell what was real anymore. In that haze of rumors and recycled clips, the truth got buried deep, almost impossible to see. Community leaders tried to step in, desperate to stop the city from spiraling out of control again. Even Black Sam, Nipsey's brother and longtime business partner, broke his silence with a heartfelt statement. If you really honor Nip, don't do this. Don't make his name a reason for more blood. But holding the city back from chaos was like trying to stop a flood with your hands. Decades of pain, pride, and street history don't disappear with one plea for peace. For some, Jabari's death was a brutal reminder that Los Angeles never really healed. It just learned how to hide its scars. The younger generation, kids who once looked up to Nipsey as a blueprint for self-made success, were now watching that dream collapse under the same violence he spent his life trying to escape. In neighborhoods that were once united by the marathon movement, tension crept back in like a ghost that refused to rest. Friends started side-eyeing each other. Old alliances cracked, and families whispered about revenge, and through it all, the most haunting truth lingered. The real shooter, the one who actually pulled the trigger that night, was still out there. No name, no motive, just silence. By the time the headlines started dying down, one hard truth stood above the noise. The cycle wasn't broken, it had only changed shape. The same streets that once destroyed lives with bullets had found a new weapon, the internet. Now, the violence wasn't just physical. It was digital, emotional, and non-stop. Every post, every meme, every exclusive theory kept the pain alive, turning grief into entertainment. For every voice calling for truth and justice, there were 1,000 more spreading half-truths, screenshots, and wild speculation. The new battlefield wasn't on Crenshaw or Figueroa. It was online, and nobody was safe from it. The tragedy of Jabari Henley and the heartbreak of his father became a harsh mirror, showing just how numb the world has become. Real people were living through pain, loss, and silence, while everyone else just kept scrolling, chasing the next viral post like nothing happened. It's easy to celebrate someone's legacy once they're gone, but it's a lot harder to live by it when the cameras stop rolling. Nipsey Hussle preached ownership, peace, and elevation, values that changed lives and inspired millions. But as chaos unfolded around Big U's family, it felt like the city had lost sight of what Nip truly stood for. The marathon wasn't supposed to end like this. It was meant to stand for growth, perseverance, and the belief that we could rise above our pasts, not keep reliving them. Yet here we are, watching the next generation fall into the same patterns, repeating the same tragedies that were supposed to be lessons, not legacies. Maybe that's the hardest truth of all. No matter how far we run, some ghosts never stop chasing us. Until we stop feeding the fire, both in the streets and online, the cycle will never break. Because in Los Angeles, legacies don't just fade away. They echo through grief, through guilt, and through the endless noise of a world that's forgotten how to feel. Every post, every rumor, every so-called story keeps the pain alive, turning real lives into endless content. If you made it this far, don't let their story disappear into the scroll. Like, share, and subscribe to Public Secrets, where the truth still matters and every story gets the respect it deserves.